Holy cow. We're back. Well, I'm back. This is the second attempt at this, guys. Second attempt. I got my iPad set up like usual with like the talking points, and then I got it set up so I can look stuff up on Google, cuz that's what you do, I guess. No, because I kind of want to look stuff up on Google. Well, I'm doing this. So, here's what I'm thinking. We started off. What's up, guys? I tell you, it's a good day like usual, because it is a good day. It is a good day. I just learned in the first attempt that if you look up just 6-7, just 6-7, the Google has an animation for it, I guess, which is pretty cool. I didn't know Google just I think it's just if you look up 6-7. We're gonna try. Yeah. So you look up just 6-7 in Google, and it has like a weird animation. Same thing as like the Thanos thing or whatever, but I guess this is a new one. Holy cow, wait. There's a whole Wikipedia just for 6-7. Holy cow. There's a literal Wikipedia page for 6-7. The phrase originated from the drill rap song Doot Doot. Now, this is Wikipedia, so. By an American rapper, which became popular in video edits featuring professional basketball players, especially LaMelo Ball, who's listed as 6'7" in height. The meme was further popularized through overtime elite player Talon, or in parentheses TK. Repeated use of the phrase in March 25, a boy named Maverick something, I'm not going to attempt, became known as the 6'7" kid after a viral video showed him yelling the term at basketball game while performing excited hand gestures. Oh my god. That's so funny. It's so funny to think about that was last year. Okay. Literally. Let's start. Sup, y'all? We're here. Number 4 already. Number 4. Yeah. So, we're just gonna ramble like usual. Nothing too specific. Let's get going. I mean, let's see. Let's talk about it. Obviously, I'd love to have guests on here. I'm pretty sure I've mentioned that before. I'm talking to a few people, but also I got to get a few mics set up to do that. I'm trying to figure out which ones are the best ones to do or to use for that. And so far, I've come up short, you know. I got to find a cheaper kind of mic, because nowadays, getting a mic, you can get a really good mic for like $10, and that's what I'm using right now. Some weird $10-$20 mic, and it'll work. But I gotta find something that'll plug into my phone that can have multiple microphones hooked up to it, and this and that. I'm looking into it, so there will be other people just in the near future. Yeah, no. Other than that, yeah. I mean, I invented a new word, which is Wisdomatic. And, you know, when you invent a new word or you invent something new, you want to figure out what's the best way to get it out there to people. How do I get people to know about my new word? How do I get people to know about my new book? Or how do I publish a book? And I went down a small rabbit hole of, like, how do I submit my word to the dictionary or whatever? And apparently you don't just submit it, it has to get widely used by, like, people, celebrities, whatever. Kind of how 6-7 became the word of the year last year. Because, you know, everyone and their mama was saying 6-7 everywhere they went. So, Wisdomatic, what does that mean? Actually, really quick, now that I have Google up, we're going to see if that's a real word. What does it mean? Wisdomatic. Basically, somebody who has or possesses wisdom and they automatically use it in their day-to-day conversations. So you can say my cousin Julio is very wisdomatic or whatever, or like an alternate oh oh it already is a word. Wow, I'm so glad I looked this up. I guess I invented a word that already exists. Wisdomatic refers to several distinct concepts, primarily defined as the ability to dispense wisdom quickly. It is used as a term for interactive educational technology, a title for creative music/poetry projects, or brand for digital content focusing on advice or personal development. Wow, definition. Coined as a term for the ability to dispense wisdom at the moment's notice. See, okay, I say I kind of build on top of that and say wisdomatic, somebody who possesses wisdom and can use it in a sentence fluently. So like I guess it's like a sub definition, I guess you could say I gave it. It's pretty much the same one, just different meaning or different wording behind it. So what the heck? How come Amazon comes up as one of the search things? Wisdomatic pieces of advice ebook. Oh, okay. Weird. Well, that kind of humbled me real quick. I guess I was so excited. I'm like, I invented a new word. I guess we'll have to keep. It's not like I'm sitting here trying to brainstorm a new word where I'm like, I gotta come up with a new word. Let me think about it. Let me think about it. What if we combine apple and banana? A banana. A banana. Oh, banana. Papelnano. No. Papelnano. Papelnano. I, I just came up with that on the spot. But like it's not like I'm trying to sit here coming up with a brand new word. It's like if it comes to me, it comes to me, whatever. I got so excited though. Wisdomatic. See, that's probably why it flows off the tongue so well. You know, like when you think of something or like you hear something you've never heard and you're like, apple, apple, apple. It's you're not used to saying it, so it's like it doesn't sound very. It's not like native to your tongue, so you're just apple. That's probably why it flowed off my tongue so well. I'm like wisdomatic. Oh, okay, all right. I had a whole thought process behind that too. Wisdomatic, wisdom, obviously, and matic, like somebody who can automatically dispense wisdom or who possesses wisdom automatically without even trying. You know, but good for whoever invented the word wisdomatic. Kind of, kind of salty about that. Who cares though? I'm not salty. You're salty. I'm not salty. You're salty. Anyways, I guess we get rid of. I invented a new word. Get rid of that. Hmm. You know, I mean, see, when I'm doing the thinking, making random noises, that's like me going through the list of things. I'm like, what do I want to talk about next? Because if I don't write them down, I'm gonna be like, what did I want to talk about? That's gonna be like half an episode of just me thinking about what I wanted to talk about. The new Xbox. That's been on my mind. It's called Project Helix, Xbox Helix. Microsoft teamed up with a PC company or whatever to make a new Xbox. Let's look that up. Project Helix. Let's see how smart Google is. Project Helix. Holy cow. Alright. Apparently, I've already looked it up. Project Helix is being developed as an official next generation Xbox console, not secondary sub console or mid generation refresh like the Xbox One X. However, it is fundamentally different from previous generations because it is a hybrid device designed to function as a oh, my bad. I'm adding extra words. As both high-end console and Windows-based gaming PC. That's pretty exciting, dude. Anyone who knows anything about gaming, on the outside you hear, "Oh, it's a hybrid." Oh, so like my Tesla or sorry, like my uh Prius? Not exactly like your Prius, but it's like you take the qualities of a PC and PC pretty good processing power, pretty good FPS, pretty good everything else, and you put it in a gaming console where it's more portable, and you get like this freaking beautiful thing. Like, and then on top of it, you're gonna be able to run Steam games and Xbox games on it, dude. Dude, that's oh man, that's so exciting, so exciting. A hybrid. Now, obviously, you know this is you can speculate on it until it comes out. So none of this is actually well, it's confirmed by Xbox, but not all of it is. But like, there's obviously going to be limitations. You're not going to be able to fly. You're not going to be able to skydive with it. I'm sure you could, but like, you're not going to want to go skydiving with it. So obviously, but that's so exciting because, in my opinion, now I've never tried PlayStation. I haven't. I grew up on the PlayStation 3, but I never really was a PlayStation person, so I can't 100% say if Xbox or PlayStation's better, but in my personal opinion, I like Xbox better. So it's so exciting because, so many people were sitting here trashing on Xbox or whatever, saying it's going down the drain and this and that. And I didn't realize that because I'm stuck in the clouds like, ooh, Xbox is the greatest thing ever. Ooh, I didn't see any of the, the problems. But now that they've been aware or been brought to my attention, I'm like, okay. Now, obviously, I knew that PlayStation outperformed Xbox by like threefold. PS5, when the new PS5 and the Xbox XS or whatever came out, and it outperformed Xbox by like big numbers. I knew about that, but I didn't know anything else. I didn't know like anything. So now that I hear Project Helix, I'm like, whoa, holy cow. I'm excited. The only downside, I guess, and it kind of a hot take. I think it's reasonable, but the only downside is the price is rumored to be like $900. I feel like we already headed there. We already are headed there because when the PS5 came out and the Xbox XS came out, you're spending I think like $700. Don't quote me on that. $700 when it first came out, and that's a hefty amount for like anything. $700. That's you really got to think about it. Hold on, we're gonna look this up. What was the price? Price of the. Hold on, I can't type. Last Xbox when. Okay, here we go. What was the price of the Xbox when it first came out? The original Xbox. Oh no 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 no. What was the price of the Xbox X? Hold on, XS. Here we go. Sorry. What was the original price of the Xbox XS when it first came out? See, I'm confused now. I always get this mixed up. I guess we're not going to get the answer because I'm too confused to decipher it right now. Where was I? I feel like when the last generation of consoles came out, it was pretty hefty, so we're already moving towards an upward rise on consoles. And a price tag of like $999, kind of reasonable if the console delivers, but if it's like just barely steps up from the last console, I say keep it around the same price. Maybe price hike it $50 or so. But if there's major leaps and bounds like the rumors are suggesting for the new Xbox, give it a $300 give it a $300 price increase, because it's about time. I'm pretty hopeful. Either way, I want to see PlayStation and Xbox, thrive, because if they don't thrive and there's no competition between them, then we're not going to get better console. Well, we will, but we're not going to get like the same groundbreaking consoles every time a new one releases, if that makes sense. Hold on, we'll be right back. We're back. Hold on, sorry, I had a burp. I just realized you guys could hear the fan in the background. That's off now, so hopefully that wasn't too annoying. Yeah, no. I guess just to wrap it up, I'm pretty excited for the new Xbox. Wow. Hold on, that was loud. Sorry, guys. Last time a new Xbox or a new PlayStation even came out, I wasn't like, what are the words? I wasn't in the gaming universe like I am now, so it's not like it wasn't as exciting. But now I'm like, GTA 6, new Xbox, yes. It's pretty exciting, I guess. We talked about the Xbox. We're not gonna talk about that. I guess the next topic that I wrote down, I guess, we're gonna read this word for word. I like to know a little bit about everything so I can have conversations with just about anyone. What does that mean? Um, no. I like to learn as much as I can, or learn as much as possible, and I mean, I'm like a sponge. I retain information very well. So if you tell me something, I'm gonna remember it 9 times out of 10. So I like learning as much as I can. So even if I don't know you, and even if I don't know you, I can still have a conversation with you with just about anything you bring up, whether it's working on cars, or going to the moon, or deep ocean, or tinfoil hat conspiracy theories. I'm your guy. And sometimes it's a blessing and a curse, especially for especially for like my friends and stuff, cuz when I talk with them, they get annoyed because well, I don't know. I can't exactly explain how they feel. I always feel they get annoyed because they'll bring something up, and since I know I'm a know-it-all, okay? I know basically anything about everything, and they're like asking questions. I'm always the first person to answer it. And I feel like they get annoyed because it's like they don't want to only talk to me. So sometimes I gotta sit back and like, oh, okay, I'll let Johnny take this one. I don't have a friend named Johnny, but it'd be pretty interesting if I did. What's the other thing? What's the other thing? What is the other thing? I lost my train of thought. You know, anything. Anything. I mean, this is the joy of doing a solo. I have to fill in the voids of the not talking. So I can't sit there for more than like 5 seconds without talking, or else it's gonna be like, oh, where'd this guy go? Hello? Hello? No, but like seriously though, solo episodes are probably gonna be mostly what I do until I get something going, but you're gonna have to get used to it. Hot dogs. Y'all are hot dogs. If you're listening to this, you're a hot dog. And if you know me, text me keyword hot dog to my phone number or anything else, and you will get absolutely nothing. That just shows me that you listened to 19 minutes of the 4th episode. Oh, golly. So yeah, since we're not gonna talk about that, I guess we kind of already covered that. On top of that, I love to learn new things. Uh, yeah, we're not gonna quote myself. That's kind of tacky. I've learned asking questions and being bold is low key kind of important, you know? It's being bold is probably the harder thing to do when you're talking to somebody, but like the main thing is don't be afraid to ask questions. I think I don't I'm going to butcher this, but there's like this quote where it's like the dumbest question asked is the one or the dumbest question is the one that's not asked, I think, or whatever. And basically that means like if you don't ask the question or whatever, then you might miss out on a valuable piece of information. And I've learned asking questions is probably the best thing to do. Or not the best thing to do, but like the best thing to learn or take in information. Is hey, I was wondering, if we're going to the moon again, should I wear a life vest? Now that might be a silly question, but you might be genuinely confused on if you should wear a life vest to the moon or not, and asking may save your life. Now that's a little drastic, but that was the first example I could think of, Asking questions is very important. And then in turn, once you get good at asking questions, being bold. And let's unpack that. Being bold and asking questions. They're kind of the same thing. Asking a question is like, hey, how many dogs walk on the daily basis? And being bold is like, no, I will not walk your dog. Or, do you want to go out on a date with me? Ooh, that's bold. Just out of the blue. Being bold can get you into good situations. It can get you into other situations, but being bold, you know, I find to be very important. Because when you're talking to somebody, you want to, if you're genuinely interested in talking to somebody, you're gonna want to sit down and talk to them, and you don't want them to be shy or whatever. Like, yeah, 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 yeah. My day was good. Yeah, yeah. How about you? Yeah. Oh, nice, nice. Oh, you don't want to talk to somebody that's like that. You want to talk to somebody that is willing to answer your question and then have a follow up question. So you're like, hey, how's your day? Oh, my day's good. I woke up, I cooked myself some eggs, I had a cup of coffee. I saw that there were birds on my bird feeder. You have a bird feeder? And then, talk to people. And, even going back to asking questions can kind of be bold too. Go out of your way. Go out of your way. Be like, hey, somebody you might not talk to, be like, hey, I saw that you had a pin from my favorite band, and pick a random band, Metallica or whatever. Hey, I saw you had a Metallica pin over there. You ever been live in concert? Start a conversation. It's like it I don't I have the point. I don't think it's landing properly, so I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to keep going until I stick it right. Go out of your way, ask questions. Don't fall in line, don't get stuck in the 9 to 5. Get up, breakfast, go to work, go home, dinner, TV, sleep. Go out of your way. When you're out at the supermarket and you're like checking out, don't be afraid. Hey, I like your shirt. Isn't that a TV show from the 90s? Start a conversation, mother trucker. Start a conversation. And then, be bold. Be bold. Being bold can be something simple too. Just like being bold can be the simplest thing of holding a door for somebody, or even something down to seeing somebody. Hey, you're very pretty. I just want to let you know. I saw you from over there. Thought you were really pretty. Want to let you know. That's all. Don't be creepy about it. Just be bold. And then you never know where that could lead you, which don't come off creepy because that could lead you to jail or getting smacked in your face. But being bold or asking questions could lead to I don't know. Hey, can I get your number? I thought we were having a great conversation. Let's talk about it again, do coffee, eh? We'll do a little coffee, eh? you know, I think I got the point down. It didn't make sense at first, but work hard, yeah, no, we're gonna just move straight into the next topic because that was low key kind of awkward. Work hard, you know, work hard. My work personally speaks for itself. When I come around, people are like, that dude puts in 110% effort no matter what. Work hard. You don't have to brag about your work if you work hard. Your work will brag about you, my work speaks for itself. I don't know what point I was trying to get at when I wrote this down. I just wrote down my work speaks for itself. So I'm just going to ramble off of that. It does kind of speak for itself. When I'm doing music, when I'm doing this, people talk about me. I don't hype myself up. People hype me up, you know. I'll hear from new people that I meet, friends of friends or whatever, sorry, friends of friends or whatever, and they're like, yeah, no, so and so was telling me about this and that and this and that. I'm like, oh, nice. So you basically get the gist of who I am, what I do. Great. If you aren't interesting and you don't put in effort to be interesting or whatever, then you're not doing it right. If you have to, now, what I'm about to say kind of could be taken the wrong way, I guess. But if you have to give yourself an elevator pitch, are you really that interesting? Now, what I mean by that can be taken the wrong way is like maybe it's not a friend of a friend and you just met this person, then give them an elevator pitch. But if your friend or your sister or your brother who's introducing you to somebody new isn't hyping you up like this dude's the greatest guy out here, he does construction, he actually built the house you're living in, blah blah blah, then you're not working hard. You're not that interesting, hot dog. Sorry to say. Um, yeah. I don't know. I have no idea what I was trying to get at when I wrote that down. I kind of made a talking point out of it. Probably the last talking point is I like podcasts and the comedy because it's raw and real. What does that mean? Now, I think I remember writing this one down. I like podcasts because it's real, it's raw. Back in the day, now, way back in the day, before my time, it was like 3 TV channels on TV, and that was like, yeah, as close as you could get to like real, raw TV. Nowadays, you can go on Instagram and you could be like, look at me in my 3 bedroom, 4 bathroom, $3.7 million mansion, and get stuck in that loop of fake stuff. But then you go to the top 10 podcasts on Spotify, and almost every single one of them is successful with almost 1 million people listening because it is real, raw conversations. And sure, it might be actual celebrities talking to each other, but then you can't sit there reading off a teleprompter or reading out of pre-made answers for 3 hours. You're going to get down to a real person at some point, That's what podcasting is all about. I mean, you go back to 2009 Christmas when Joe Rogan, before he considered it a podcast, he just sat down, hold on, with his buddy, and they were just kicking it, dude. They were just kicking it. They went live on like Twitter or whatever, and they were just rambling. Just straight up, didn't even make sense rambling. It did make sense. And he was kind of famous back then, but he wouldn't be the same Joe Rogan if he didn't do that. But the only reason it's successful is because people could sit down and hear a real thought process. Because, that doesn't translate through movies or through late night talk shows, you can tell that they're like, okay, this is scripted. But then you sit down, the podcast, blah blah blah. And I think I'm making the same point, just different ways now at this point. So I don't think I think it just got boring. My brain's just like, hey, listen here, you. You made the same point 3 times, just different ways. Yeah, no, and I mean, here's another. The reason podcasts, the reason why the top 5 biggest podcasts are so big is because it's because I think what am I trying to get at? Comedy and podcasts are just like the greatest mix ever. You think of peanut butter and jelly on a sandwich, PB and J. You're like, all right, that's a decent sandwich. You think of ham, salami, mayonnaise, mustard. I mean, if you're weird, fucking pickles, excuse my language, pickles on a sandwich, and that's called sub, son. You put a comedian behind a mic, and holy cow. Not only is it going to be funny, you're going to have a good time listening. You're going to be like, oh yeah, it's about to get real. It's gonna get raw and real. I mean, you go out to like a comedy club and they're joking about like things that are real. So the other day I got out of my car, and you ever notice how cars are made out of metal? And why aren't they made out of Legos? You know, and they make a joke out of that. I don't know where I was going. I'm not a comedian, so I can't exactly make it funny. But yeah. I think that was like the last talking point. Unless there's something interesting I see really quick while I'm scrolling through like the news. Holy cow. Yes. Yes. Okay. Let's talk about this. iPhone Ultra, and I just pulled up this weird article. Apparently they're doing some weird AirPod thing? What? Ultra. Beyond the watch, Apple's new Ultra strategy for the iPhone, Mac, and AirPods. What? New chapter in product strategy. Wow. So, if you haven't heard, if you are under a rock, iPhone Ultra, basically the iPhone Fold is coming out. Hold on, my cat's being weird. The iPhone Fold, or rumored to be called the iPhone Ultra, is coming out this year, and holy cow, you take an iPhone and an iPad and you put them motherfuckers together, dude. And it's Apple, so they're gonna deliver. I mean, it's gonna be like $2,000, but they're gonna deliver. I'm pumped up. Me personally, because there's how most foldable phones has like the crease. Apparently, Apple's found a workaround to it, and there's no crease in the middle where you can directly see the line. Now, I've heard rumors about the AirPod Ultra. Apparently, it's gonna have built-in heart rate It's gonna have a built-in heart rate monitor, and also cameras. Apparently, somewhere built in, so you can do like hand gestures to skip a song or whatever, which is gonna be pretty interesting if it's true. I didn't know they're doing a whole lineup though of iPhone Ultra, Ultra Mac, and then the Ultra AirPods. The AirPods have just been rumored for so long now. It's like, it's kind of like Bigfoot. You hear about it, but you're like, I don't know if I don't know if it's actually coming out. But I'm pumped up about that iPhone Fold. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's goofy. I mean, hot take. The foldable phones, goofy. And before you pull out your phone and you're like, it's called a flip phone. What do you call a flip phone then? A flip phone. The flip phones had the little numbers at the bottom, the foldable phones are like you get a phone screen and then you get like a tablet. Why are we still making tablets and phones if we could just have foldable phones, dude? They're kind of goofy, but I see the vision. I definitely see the vision there. And apparently rumored I'm not reading this. These are all rumors I've heard, so they may or may not be true. The foldable phone is supposed to be like the same thickness as a regular phone folded together. So when it's folded like a book, or like it's shut like a book or whatever, it's supposed to be the same thickness as a phone, and then you unfold it and it's supposed to be thinner. If it's real or not, we'll see. But that's pretty freaking interesting, you know? Luke Combs breaks. Okay, nice. We're gonna scroll through here really quick. GTA Online update confirmed by Rockstar with new content. We're not gonna show how much of a nerd we are. What? Oh, closes in. Okay, that's interesting. That's something not most people know is Google is not owned by Google. Apparently, Google's parent company is called Alphabet. You know, what? Apple hits a new time. Okay. No, that's a lie. I'm going through here reading these like weird headlines, and this one reads, now these aren't weird. They're their own things, whatever. 10 near perfect hard sci-fi shows that no one remembers, and they put a picture of the 100 on it. I'm like, dude, that's like top 5 favorite shows of all time, you know? The 100 is like one of my favorite shows, dude. I've watched it through entirely once because first of all there is 7 seasons of that, and each episode's like 40 minutes, so I can't sit there and binge TV. But I've watched it through one entire time, and then I've watched about halfway through again. Actually, no, that's a lie. I've watched it through twice. But either way, I always recommend that show. I'm like, dude, you want to watch a good show? Watch The 100. Great show. You know, you got your Rick and Morty for cartoon-based sci-fi, and you got your Avatar movies for long-form movies. But then, like, what's a good live-action TV show where you can watch an episode and then pick it up later? The 100, dude. Great show. In trying to look it up, what platform it's on, it's kind of hard. I've tried looking it up before, like what platform is the 100 on, and it always says it's on one streaming platform, but I can't find it. Pluto TV, apparently it's free. I'll have to look into that. YouTube, Apple TV, Fandango at home, Amazon Prime Video. There you go. If you want to watch a good show, watch that. Yeah, no, we're not going to talk about that. All new Xbox achievement update is rolling out to everyone. Here's what's changed. No thanks. iPad OS 26.5 will add 3 new features for iPad. Here's what's coming. Oh my god, I'm not gonna watch that. Oh, okay, that's interesting. We're not gonna read that. I don't read articles. I just read the headlines. It's like, oh. Let's see if we can't find anything new here really quick. Sony to pay almost $4 billion for Bieber Neil Young catalog. Ooh, Justin Bieber's an interesting topic. He's kind of smart the way he did it. He made this big catalog of music. Well, it's not smart or whatever. He did his own thing. He built up the whole catalog of music, and then he sold it to like some big record label for not a lot of money compared to like other people. And then he drops this new album not too long ago, and then he headlines at Coachella as the main artist, and now he's like pretty much up there when it comes to top artists in the world. You know, it's crazy how he's kind of smart the way he did it. No. Anything else? Because low-key, though, if I can't find anything else to talk about, we're just going to end it. We're going to refresh Google really quick. Because, yeah, it switched. No, it didn't. Wait, what? Apple agrees. Oh, really? I'm going to have to look into that afterwards. 5 games are available today across various tiers of Xbox Game Pass. No thanks. Mountain Dew reviews, top flavor, but only at this chain. No thanks. Apple AirPods Pro 3 no longer carry a premium price tag on Amazon, as Amazon drops. What? Wait, what? Hold on. We're gonna look into that, cause if they really drop the price down for AirPods Pro 3, don't allow. We're not gonna allow Google to have my location. Apparently, they dropped the price of AirPods down. AirPod Pro 3. Oh, apparently I'm not the first person to look it up. Holy cow. No kidding. Wow. $199. Listing price $240. Now, that's a good deal. If you go to the Apple Recall website, they give you like 15% off. And then I'm pretty sure the same thing. Whoa. They give you like the same thing too for the student discount, I think, on the other app. So, like, I guess if you want, oh, my bad, guys. If you want a good pair of AirPods and you want them cheap, go to Amazon right now for the Mother's Day thing. See, you learn something new every day, dude. Well, it's not learning something new, but you find out about new deals, and, well, you can't really pass those up, can you? Or were we? I can't wait for that game, dude. I can't wait for GTA 6. No, that's a silly question. Reading this article, are the $599 MacBook Neo days numbered? No, not even close. If anything, Mac, not MacBook, Chromebook should be kind of scared. All those other companies that sell smaller computers or like cheaper computers should be so scared. Because first of all, Apple comes through flexing on these companies like, hey, our phones are so powerful, we can put a phone chip in there to power the computer. I'm like, what the? That's like the most baller thing you could do. And then on top of it, they release this cheaper thing, this cheaper Chromebook at like a very competitive price, and it's like an Apple product too, and you get like all these things built into it, and you're like, I don't know about you, but that gets me so pumped up. I think we're gonna call it quits here. Yeah. One last check, cause I'm optimistic. I went through all my talking points and this and that. One last talking point. What? What? What is Marvel's most beloved character? Spider-Man? Is that what we're talking about? Not buying it. No. Alright, I think that's it. Hot dogs. I think that's it. So we're gonna whisper the rest of the way through here. I hope you all have a good time. And you have a good day. That's the